Good evening to all the attendees. We are going to start our webinar now. I welcome you all for this evening webinar. In an advanced technological world, we need engineers to bring ideas into reality. By applying the principles of mathematics and science, engineers develop solutions to the world's biggest technical issues. So today we are going to have a wonderful discussion about engineers beyond engineering, the art of being an engineer, with our engineer Vikram Vail. And before entering into the webinar, I would like to play a PowerPoint presentation about our company Seek. So I'm Dr.Ushaa Eswaran, and let me introduce myself. And I'm an engineer. Basically, I'm an engineer and also run a company named Seek. And Seek is an organization which offers skill development, career guidance, and academic consultancy. And I'm also an academician, educationist, entrepreneur, career analyst, professional life coach, motivational speaker, NLP master practitioner, and a YouTuber. And I have about 30 years of experience in the field of industry and education. And I've addressed more than 20 lakhs of people on different topics and trained more than 1 lakh of students and placed more than 10,000 students and counseled more than a lakh of people. And Seek has some services. The important services are career guidance, academic consultancy, and skill development. So we give some services to schools, colleges, and corporates. So schools and colleges, we focus mainly on the career guidance. Right from 9th standard, we guide the students, school students, to choose their career path. And this guidance is not at random or a mass level of career guidance. It is personalized career guidance with a psychometric tool. We extract the strengths and abilities of the child and design the career path. And also for school kids right from KGs, we also give sessions on good touch and bad touch. And we do faculty development programs in both schools and colleges. And also for parents, we do art of parenting. And for institutions, managements, principals, and HODs, we do academic consultancy based on how to improve the quality of education. And also every skill that is needed by the industry, that we call it as a 21st century skill training, is being given. And also we focus on gender sensitization and also on women related issues. And for corporates especially, they need a lot of customized program based on the need of the corporate or company. We give a customized program like interpersonal skills, critical thinking skills, problem solving, time management, emotional intelligence, empathy, positive attitude, and also on POSH Act. We are very proud to say that we are associated with the railways, railway protection force, and income tax department for their training, and also for many core companies and IT companies. And let me go take you through a small slide on why a child requires a career guidance and how we can do a path so that the child can be happy. You can see different age groups in this life stages, that is 5, 15, 22, 40, because there are different age groups in our life. And when the child is at 5 years, the child is a baby, and everyone in the house pamper the child and they motivate the child like anything. And due to that, the child gets an attitude of I can. So anything at the age of 5, the child will be interested to do anything. But as and when it goes into the school, a lot of exams comes, there a lot of competition, comparison, confusion comes, and marks plays a major role there. And people feel only the students who fetch marks are intelligent and only they are successful. So that goes into the mind of the child, and when they take up the study, they don't decide on their own and they just follow the friends or somebody's advice, and they reach some position. At the age of 22, the I can attitude becomes can I, because they don't follow their strengths and ability and just follow their friends and somebody's advice, and they lose their confidence level also. So this happens in an unplanned career. So what happens is they come into a dance of life when they just start working. The freshers, if you see, After 1 year, they lose the job and they start again trying for something else. They don't have a focused line of journey. So they cannot strengthen their career. And that happens only gives rise to a frictional employment or a frictional unemployment. So they get some a problem in the company, they cannot show it to anyone or to the boss or anyone, they just show it in the family, and the entire family gets ruined, and the personal life and professional life gets spoiled. So this unplanned career, that is, the career is nothing but it starts from the time we start learning. So learning to earning is a career, and 18 years of the education will decide 40 years of work life. So a planned career is something like, you know, your strengths and explore the occupations available and also the future demand. So that is how we play a role here, and we identify the strength of the child personality and their interest and potential, and guide them and design a career path and handheld them till they reach their destination. So this is about Seek. And I have a YouTube channel, and you can see a lot of educational videos, and also on latest technologies, latest job need, entrepreneurship, life skills, and also a lot of motivational talks. Anything, any devotional, anything is available in that YouTube channel. Kindly subscribe, and also continue watching the latest technical and other related videos in that. And now I'm very happy to enter into the webinar, and very happy to introduce our speaker today, Vikram Vail. He is an engineer and qualified in electrical and electronics, and he has 5+ years of experience as embedded software developer, and he has developed open source Wi-Fi firmware for ESP32 wireless module, and department topper and a best outgoing student award winner in 2015. And he has won the IET Edison Award for Innovation in the year 2012, and he has published 4 IEEE papers on embedded systems, IoT, and microgrids, and is a proud member and co-founder of Team Microsapiens, and IEEE 802.11 work group active member, and an amateur photographer and a technical blogger. This is about Vikram Vail, and he has given you his website www.ivkrm.com, where you can know more about him and his innovations. So I would like to welcome Vikram Vail.
Hi, ma'am.
Hi, Vikram. Yes.
How Good evening, everyone. I'm good. I'm good. I hope everyone is safe.
We are very fortunate to have you today evening.
Going on.
Yeah.
Am I audible? Am I audible properly?
You're audible. So I think Vikram, you can tell about yourself beyond the profile what I have said.
Yeah, so I'm very happy to be here, and thanks, ma'am. It's very kind of you to introduce me. So basically, I just agreed to this session because of the topic, the art of engineer. So that defines me. I'm an engineer. I did my graduation in 2015. So I'm a EEE graduate. So to say more about me, I studied in a school called Kendra Vidyalaya. I'm born and brought up in Chennai. So from there, I took engineering in SMK Formula. I did my EEE graduation. And I was good in academics, which brought me to be the department topper and best outgoing student. That was the byproduct of doing what I love. And then from there on, I went into an internship. I was part of bodies like IEEE and IET, which grabbed me the opportunity to be an internship in an NGO called Solarian Foundation. There, I published few research papers in the areas of embedded systems and IoT. That's when I realized there's a huge gap of what I'm doing and what is required, which is expected of me of an industrial scenario. So I took a job in a company called Embedded Systems. So there I predominantly worked on Wi-Fi, which is 8.2.11, which we call it as such. Then I became active member of the working group. This is a working group which defines how we need to operate wireless. So I learned a lot in embedded systems. That was my foundation for professional career for me. And then I got a brilliant opportunity in Dubai in a company called Intel. Intel was focused on hotel management, but it was more like hotel automation systems. So for example, we concentrated on hospitality, and they made room control units for various top-star hotels and all. I was a guy who worked in R&D, who was co-responsible for creating the Wi-Fi and networking systems. From there on, I had to come back to India for personal reasons, and then I'm currently working at L&T as a senior firmware developer as a part of Philips R&D. So R&D in lighting systems. Here again, I'm working in firmware development. This is a short, brief introduction of me about my
That
short
was
journey in 5 years.
very inspiring, Vikram. And
Yeah.
let us start. I'm very curious to know certain things from you because out of experience in this age group, like you can inspire a lot of youngsters because your feeling will be same length of the students who will be watching this webinar. And to start with, let me start with a very basic question. Who is an engineer and what is engineering?
Yeah. So I would say engineer is one who observes. So more than engineer, he's a guy who can bring together science and art or bring together what he has learned. Basically, engineers are the people who see the world differently. That's what I would say. Because when everyone in the world sees, okay, it's working, it's great, and it's maybe they will go to extent to ask why it is working. But engineer is a person who obviously will ask why is it working in this way alone. So basically, his or her mind will always be working in a process of elimination. That's how we become efficient. So for an engineer, it is not always, the work doesn't stop when it works. It goes beyond a point where, you need to make it work and also make it work in an efficient manner. That's how engineering is defined, because making it work is basically like getting pass mark in an examination. How well efficient or how useful it is to your society is what defines your engineering diploma. So that's how I engineering is a state of mind. That's what I would say than a profession.
See, I also have a thought now when you said this. Can we also relate engineers to entrepreneurs?
Obviously, yes. So engineers, as a single person, they would need to think like an entrepreneur. Entrepreneur is not someone who has a company or who has a startup or who has a product. They are great people. They are entrepreneurs. But what I would say is, me as a person, I should be able to there are so many platforms called freelancing platform. I should be able to go have my skill set and help a company without being part of a company. That's also an entrepreneurship. So I would say you should be thinking like an entrepreneur so that you will know what skill set you have, and on daily basis you can gauge yourself, saying, okay, I'm good at this. Okay, you will benchmark yourself from yesterday. So they are entrepreneurs. Yes, they should
So
think
even
like.
I look entrepreneurs like someone who are problem solvers. So they see the world and see some gaps in the world, and
Yeah,
they want to fill those gaps. They need not
exactly.
make some money. They're not keen in making money. They just want to make the world more better, like
Yeah.
how it's happening, like everybody wanted to do something to bring some change which will give you a better environment.
Yeah, because I always felt that engineers become restless when there is something which is out of the puzzle or out of for them. If they know something, okay, they know something. For example, in my house, something is not working, we get restless. Maybe I will not say we will correct the whole thing. Maybe we'll break the thing, but we always have this restless tendency which makes us go out there and change the world, not just stop when we invent something. Just stop there. Money is just a byproduct of what we do. That's what I consider.
So, as an engineer, when somebody wants to become an engineer, they should start developing that mindset. Look around
Yes.
what's happening and where I can do something to rectify that fault and make it better. So, if
Yeah.
that mindset is there for an engineer, like what do you think? What are
Yeah.
the essential properties of engineering mindset?
Yes, now that I know the audience are from school students, so I would like to say this, like, for example, let me bring from my experience. I would like to talk from my experience. So, considering you are in a school, not just you, and everyone should join. That's what I see here. The engineering is not always for everyone. It's good that there are so many engineers coming out of our country. That is the best thing I can say. But you should select engineering so that you love what you do. So there should be a question. You should ask yourself, okay, what am I good at and what I love to do, because this is a profession where you need to learn everyday basis. I'm not saying other professions you're not supposed to keep updated, but here if you are not updated in day-to-day basis, you will be out of the current trend. You will not be the best in what you do. So for an engineer's mindset, as a property of an engineer, I would say the first thing is think in a system mindset. For a school kid, a system may be, instead of seeing what it is in a whole big picture, break it down into modules. okay, you know what, you should be in a position to, link them logically. You should have this logical mindset of questioning, why is it happening in this way? Why can I change it something like this? Okay, I broke a toy today. Or what can I get out of it? Okay, I cannot just throw it out. Because I see people, they're not interested on few things, but that's fine. But if you're interested on something, okay, because I have seen myself breaking everything in my house. So I would say that is one of the qualities of an engineer, and knowing how it works and what it does is also another quality. So that is the first question you should ask yourself: what you're good at and what you love to do. And if your answer is coming up, you know what, I'm good at, making something, or taking a concept and building something out of it. So that is basic first primary quality of an engineer. Next thing is, you should adapt to the constraints, because engineering is not a world you will have, luxury of operating in, having everything else. You should always operate in the constraints. Constraints is like, you cannot say, I need all this thing for me to work something. No, that is not how real world works. Real world always gives you constraint, and you should always give your best in the constraint. So if your mind can work with whatever you find in and around you, then you are the best candidate for the engineering. That's it. That's the two base qualities I would say.
That's wonderful, Vikram. And I'm also keen to know, like, if suppose, because the world needs a lot of engineers in every field needs the support of engineer.
Yes.
If every kid need to develop an engineer mindset, even if he or she is not going to become an engineer mindset is something which is required as a problem solver. Okay.
Yeah.
So how do you educate the children? Maybe you talk about a parent per se, or the institute per se, like how the teachers have to develop that attitude to the children.
So first of all, I would say, you should not be afraid of the problems. Yes, if something doesn't work, if there is something failure happening, yeah, it happens. It's a part of the whole process. The first characteristic I would say is, suggest you should be an open mindset to accept the failures as it comes. You should see what you did wrong. It's like playing a game. Yeah, you lost today, come back tomorrow and play again. Because the main core concept here is, you need to come back tomorrow and then start playing the game fresh. Start from square one. You should not be afraid, because I myself, considering having few more experience in whatever I do, I always start from square one every day. So that's how you treat a problem, you treat a bug, you treat a feature, whatever it comes to in your way. So from school, you should always try to, treat your failures in such a way that you should not be afraid to go to square one and come back. Yeah, you can go all the way. A small mistake can put you to square one. Yeah, that is part of the process. Success will come. So don't worry about success or failure. It's because from the moment you start winning, worrying about winning the game in practice matches, you will not win the game. So play whatever, start knowing the skills, be prepared be prepared is what I would say for any career. But in engineering, engineers are problem solvers. That's what I say. So problem is what you'll be dealing with day in and day out. And if you're worried about problems, then it's hard to be in this profession. So one thing is, you should innovate, and there are going to be competitions. Competitions will make it a fun job to do. So there will be so much of competition. Maybe when I worked in a patent, there were like 15 other patents, which was same in my field. I had to go through all the patents. When I went through all this patent, it was so amazing to read the mind of others. But there was one question which I always asked myself: okay, what am I trying to do here, and what is the better thing I can do from this? Because that guy is more intelligent than me, but I'm not seeing something is not fitting here. Okay, what can I do out of it? So start reading other people's work. That's what I would first of all say in a school mindset. You should never feel insecure of addressing with someone, or if someone is better than you, go talk to them. That is how you will know where you are bad at. So that is the first primary thing. And for teachers and parents, I would say, just let them be themselves. If they are breaking something, my mom and dad never stopped me from breaking something. So let them explore if they are a kid. And if they are a grown up adult, like in 10th or 12th, don't just push them to choose a domain. Ask them questions like, okay, I know what, explore, go out. You don't need to be the bread bearer of the family. I can take care. And then explore what you want. Fail, that's fine. Because I failed so many times. I know how much time I failed. So it will bring up a unique perspective out of you, which you will never be afraid in the real life. Because when I come to a job now, I have failed so many times when I practice something. I know, okay, this will fail. So I will not waste time in working something. That is what is important here. So I would say for parents and teachers, just let them be and just observe them from outside. You know what they are good at. Just let themselves ask the question, okay, what you are good at, or ask questions like, how is it done today that the limits, or with the current practice, what you can do it better. The kid can answer these questions. He is an engineer. You can just give him the path to choose engineering. So that's
Yeah,
it.
three important points I could pick up from your talk now. One is allowing the child to do. So from the childhood, the parents or teachers, they should tell what is success, define what is success, because
Yeah.
everyone feel like if you complete a job, it is success. But according to me, more than completing a job, if you venture a job and you fail, even that is success if you could learn something from that. So
Exactly.
that is what is the real success. And second one is comparison. Like instead of comparing with someone, when you compare with someone, then you will become like them. So that is not the way you bring up the child,
Yeah.
like the child should not compare with anyone, and it should compare with its own self.
True.
So it will be looking for an improvement on daily basis, like how I am yesterday and how I am today. What is the 1% increment I have given in my potential or my effort? Though you may not get an output, at least the effort of 1% you put extra, that is going to one day give you an extraordinary
Yeah.
result. And third thing
True.
which I wanted to tell here is allowing them to do whatever they want, and kindly allow them to ask questions. So this
Yes.
is one thing
We should
which
not
is
be
missing
stopping.
everywhere. Let them
Yeah.
ask numerous questions.
Yeah.
Questions will make them think a lot.
They should not be intimidated that I'm not allowed to ask questions here, because the moment you start asking questions, yeah, the questions may come back and say you're not the right guy for engineering. Maybe the kid is good in arts, but that is also the right question to ask. Am I good at engineering? Should I choose it? Because believe me, we need so many engineers. We need so many people. The world is enough for so many engineers to come. So there is no constraint here. There can be many engineers, because the more we have good engineers, the better the world is going to be. So that is fine. But are they the best engineer? They want to do something good for next coming 40, 50 years. Because if you ask me, after 60 years also, I would love to do what I'm doing now. So it's fine for me to go and sit to a kid and teach him how to connect the wires. I love to do those things. That is the core passion you should have on what you're doing, because that will drive you a long way.
So I have a very curious question, maybe to your parents. How did you set your goal to become an engineer? Because before joining in the engineering college itself, you started a company, Microsapiens, on
Yeah.
robotics, right? That was really amazing to know. Like, so that is in your
So
blood, or you would have had a
no.
plan of doing something?
Yeah, because okay, let me bring it out how I chose engineering. Before engineering, I never knew there is. I was from my seventh or eighth, I always participated in science engineering. So my core belief was something I wanted to do something in physics. I was really good in physics. I was doing so many science projects. I never knew there was a field which existed. I can go play around with whatever I'm doing on batteries and wires. Then came a point after my 12th. I was because then I started learning about robotics. I never knew microcontrollers by that time, but then I started learning about robotics. It was so much I could there was bulbs glowing in my head. I could imagine so many other stuff, because all these things I saw in movies. But then I realized, okay, I need to do robotics engineering. But the more I did a research on it, for me, research for a school kid was asking people whoever I know. And by the time it was all Wikipedia, so I checked from Wikipedia, and there was no such college offering me robotics. Then I had to go back and see, okay, what is engineering, and what people in engineering stuff do. This I was not asking so big questions. It was like, what is engineering is like, okay, what will I study in engineering? Because I don't want to study maths just for the sake of mathematics. Like, I don't want to go, yeah, they are good people in that science people do all the invention and stuff. I want to do something out of it. So this was the primary question I was asking, because I was good in few things. I realized I was good in, going around with coding. I was good at going around with making projects, because that's how I learned everything. I had studied something in physics. I came back home, bought something from market, and then I started building it. So when I did this, that's when I realized there is also a market for this. I started selling projects for my seniors, and then I just made a small company out of it, because I had to get money for the materials which I wanted to buy. So that's how company was. I would not say it was a startup idea or something. I just wanted to make some project and sell it to my seniors. So this is how I chose engineering. Then came the point where I had to choose my department, because robotics. Now I know robotics was not final engineering. There is no domain called robotics engineering. But robotics is a nexus of everything we feel on. Mechanical is there. I know there are triple is obviously there, and there
Electronics.
electronics. Yeah, that is the core. And there is also computer science, which is not engineering, which is like building the we know from the movies, like there is neural schema, there is artificial intelligence. So these are all coming into robotics. So I knew that I'm not fit for robotics right now. I need to learn so many other things so that I can go on. That was my end goal. So I wanted to, so for example, if I want to create a robot, I was not knowing so many other things. Then there was a moment in my life where I came across Arduino. That was the first microcontroller which I came across. I was so much, because before that I used to create a cumbersome circuit using transistors and everything, but there was this microchip which did every part of my work so simple. That's when I decided I need to study how to work with this chip. So then came engineering. That's how I chose EEE, because I heard a senior of mine said, in EEE and ECE, they teach you how to work with controllers, how to work with batteries and everything. Then there was a question of choosing ECE and EEE. So I was not a fan of communication stuff. Then I started looking at the syllabus, what gives me. So EEE was more intriguing because it was like it has subjects in digital signal processing, electrical machines, and transmission. I so wanted to learn all this subject next day, so I just chose EEE. That's how. Basically, what I would say is go look in the syllabus of what you're going to learn. If you're going to choose EEE or EC or CSE, whatever it is, look at the syllabus. If you are so much wanting to learn the subject next day, that's your department. That's what your heart says. You know what, you're fit for this course. That's how I chose.
I would like to tell the audience or whoever is going to view this video, when a child chooses a domain or the branch of engineering or anything, they have to go through the syllabus and the topics which they are going to learn. Without knowing anything, you enter something like you don't have a goal, you don't have a dream, you don't have that anxiety to learn something. So this is one thing which keeps a distance from education, the child away from education. And the child just goes because the child's friend is going to the school or college. So that shouldn't be there. Like, I'm going because I wanted to learn something. So let them personalize their aim, their goal, their focus, their dream, passion. Especially passion comes into picture, because only if you're passionate, you will be able to make everything out of it. Like, if you want to learn something, a subject is there, you have a timetable, you will not skip that class. Because it's your passion. You need to learn. Learning should be a passion. So that's a very good takeaway from this session, that every child should choose a department or a branch, knowing what is that they're going to learn from that. So that's a wonderful insight.
Sure.
And how do you feel the world after engineering? Like, how exciting it is for you after completion of your...
So when I was doing engineering, all I wanted to do after fourth year was not to join a job. That's why I joined internship, because I was exploring my options. I always wanted to know, okay, I can go to a job, end of the day, I can earn money. Yes, that is important. But I wanted to do something which will never get me bored, because I am a person who's always, I cannot keep quiet. So I want something to be, I would not say always challenging, but I want to do something always good to challenge my brain. That's what I would say. So then in my third year, I got into internship. Then I went to explore the research options, because when I went into research, we were putting night outs for 1 week and all, we were doing so many other crazy stuff. But at the end of the day, it was all concepts. Yes, it was so nice. It was, we were working, because my mentor there, he was training me on so many other deep questions which I was asking myself. Then came a situation where I had to choose my job. That's where I got to know the professional field of what I learned. Yes, I see my few kids or students. I don't want to put myself so old saying kids, others. So what I see is like, they say that we learn algebra, we learn all this concept in daily basis, but where is this going to be used? Teach me something else which I use in daily life. I would say, yes, these are all going to be used. Trigonometry, I use trigonometry in my work day before yesterday. So it's going to be used. The thing is, if you are not interested in trigonometry, just leave it, because maybe that is not for you. But if you are interested in trigonometry, you're really good in trigonometry in your school days, yes, I would assure you that this is going to be useful for your job when you come to your job which is suitable for you. An engineering profile, I'm a guy of EEE and I use trigonometry, so you can know it is going to be used. It is going to be used in any field. So what I would suggest is, the world after engineering is super exciting. That's what I would say. You learn more than what you learned in college. So then you can ask me a question, why the college is important. You can just let the kids go out and learn from the professional experience. That is not the way. College keeps you grounded. College teaches you discipline. And also college is an important point, saying, okay, these are the first principles of everything. It teaches you ground zero. Because when you go to the professional world out there, everyone will talk in the the level 99 or level 100, but there is no level 0 for you. you will be so insecure, or you will be put into a world where you will feel that you don't know anything. But college teaches you and gives you this platform to show you, what, this is the ground zero you should start. 8051 is also important. Because I'm in IFEE, so I will be talking on this stuff. So every basic stuff, people say all the old stuffs are not important, start teaching us new things. Yeah, new things are absolutely important. Yes, we shouldn't be always talking about old stuff, but old stuff teaches you from where you come. You cannot just abstract all those things and, jump from step 0 to step 10 and say, I know Arduino. You should know 8051 to know how Arduino ARM architecture works. So that's how my professional world is. Whenever I go to meetings and discussions, yes, I can interact with people who are like 30, 40 years experience in this field, and they treat you like a equal person in the professional field, and they talk to you, they ask you questions, they ask you inputs. So you should be in a position to say or talk openly in a way that you talk in what you believe in, not what they expect you to say. If you start talk what you believe in, then it means that you should be confident enough on what you know. You should be in a position to say, even if you're saying one line in the whole meeting, it should be what you believe in. So that to say that one line, you should have done so much of homework. You should have, revisit all your thought process. You should have a thought process which will make you stand up even someone says, you're wrong. You should be in a position to argue with them. Argue in the sense, not like, saying I'm right. You should be in a position to know that you're accepting that why you're wrong. Because you have a belief, that is a right for you, but someone comes and tells you you're wrong. So that is what the professional engineering profession is teaching me now. Every job, every day in my job, in every meeting I attend, that's what it is teaching me. It is always asking me questions like, okay, why is this person or this other person telling me why you're wrong, why this approach is wrong. So this is so much exciting, and every day you should learn. That is what I would say. So engineer, every day is learn. Yeah. So that's my key points.
Yeah. See, when you spoke about like why should we go to college, so yeah. I wanted to say something on this. Like when the students come for career guidance, you see a lot of fancy engineering branches which has come recently. Of course, I do support them, but somebody taking up a specialization directly without doing a basic engineering, I don't feel they will have so much of command over the subject. That is my personal feel. You go and take a new technology, you learn a technology, and then you go and work, like as you said, it is something like constructing a 5th floor without a basement.
True.
Yeah, it will be hanging, because the basement foundation, what is given in your school or college, is going to help you in one way or the other. Definitely it's going to give you strong concepts from which you're going to build your yes. next career. So definitely you need to choose a college and domain and take a broader spectrum, basic engineering, and then specialize yourself on whichever is the new, the latest, which is, because they take something now and after 4 years, it may go off. A new technology may come. So you cannot rely on, it's not a short duration, it's a duration of 4 years. So you cannot expect the same technology will be on high demand for the next 5 years or something. So that's a good point. Like one has to go with the basics. And also I feel like it's not only the academics you learn from the college or school, a lot of life skills you learn, and then you will learn a lot of people management, problem solving, and facing failures. Be more resilient, because when the teachers scold you or punish you or say something, like you learn how to handle that situation. So that is one thing.
That breaks your ego.
Because at home you're pampered. If you're at home, you're pampered for everything. Everything you will get. But when you step out of the home, you will have restrictions for everything. So you should get used to it. Your mind should get used to it. Yes, of course, I will get a no from someone in my life, and I need to handle that. If I need to overcome that no, I should know what all I should do. Because in companies, as you say, like nobody, nobody will be smoother. I mean, they want only work out of you, so they will not be sitting and pampering you. So that's a very good point. And now I wanted to know about your expertise and how you do to try keep yourself best in your field. You have submitted 3 IEEE papers. That's really amazing, Vikram. Big round of applause for you. Really very good, because IEEE papers, even in the BTech, if the students are trying to read and understand, it takes such a long time just to understand an IEEE paper. And even a researcher has not posted a paper in
So yeah,
IEEE,
that
many of them.
the credit just not goes to me. This like the Solarium Foundation which I worked, right? So I would say that is like 10% of my work, 90% is from them. So because that platform which I was working, because as you said, it's a huge deal to do a IEEE paper. It is not easy for a graduate student to go out there and say, I have a problem statement and this is what I give as a conclusion. And accepting an IEEE is a whole new scenario. It's a whole new story. So there, I would say I would give most of my credits to Solarium Foundation there, and not branding it or something, because the mentor there is so important. It is not
No,
just a
you need
foundation; it
to
is the mentor.
mention, let people know like how you have been developed. That is the main thing. Like
Yes,
it's not branding. Tell this
yeah,
institution which helped you or supported you,
yes, and
motivated you.
they are still doing stuff. So if you are interested, if anyone is interested in publication and stuff, they can. I think Sir is already there. I don't know how they're working but you can reach out to them. They have a website, Solarium Foundation. You can reach out to them. They are always open. So yeah. That is one thing. And the question you asked, like how my domain is basically embedded systems. That's what I would call myself a specialist. I chose embedded systems because that is one field which I can always put it into middle dot and work around everything in my real life problems. For example, previous company I was working in wireless. Now I'm working in firmware. Before this, I was working as driver development. These are all fancy terms for maybe college students, but these are like you have your modem at your house. So I was working in a company. In the first company of mine was making these modems, like Cisco modems and all. So I was working inside how this modem should work. Okay, how when for example you're connecting your TV to the modem, you're connecting your laptop, and you're connecting your mobile phones. So TV is going to broadcast video channels, and there is something called quality of service. So like we had having this video chat, this will have more preference. So I was the guy who wrote code for all this stuff, and then my domain shifted from here to something in hospitality. I was put into a field where room control was most important, and then so much of constraint. This was a super small chip because the first company, they just gave me, for example, 1 GB of RAM. This next company just gave me 2 KB of RAM. So my quality should be the same from there to here. So this is a huge constraint which I faced, and that is the exciting thing about embedded system. So I had to learn. I had no clue of. Only thing I knew was Wi-Fi. So from the previous company to next company, the only link was Wi-Fi, the chipsets and everything, tool chains and the way of coding, everything was different. But the beauty of embedded systems is you can always learn. Put a overnight or 1 week sit on the concept and learn and start giving the maximum output. So all it matters is your willingness to learn this one day. So the next company where I had working was I had to develop something from scratch, and it was a great experience for me. My learning curve went on exponential terms. So now in this company, I'm working on something on smart lightings, and yes, the system is completely different from previous. I'm working on GPS. I talked about triangulation methods, and we are calculating astro times. This is more exciting, the algorithms and all. But this is completely different from Wi-Fi. So the very much link here is embedded systems. That's how I always manage to keep myself exciting. So for example, there will always be a point where you may think you're not best at it, because the people around you in the company will be doing so much that obviously you will feel that, oh my god, I'm not doing anything compared to that person. I'm not even doing the work in the fastest way. I have so much collateral works. I had faced all this thing. The one thing you will always be that this person is not going to come to you and say, you know what, I did so much better than you. This person will have his or own problems in the company. He will not even think that, oh my god, this guy is working low, I'm running first in the race. The only thing there is, you have your bug and you're not able to finish it faster. That's it. That's what you should be thinking. You're not supposed to look around. Yeah, you can ask this guy how he's managing his time. You can ask this guy, teach me this concept so that I can also perform like you. But don't compare it. The moment you start comparing with others, maybe you will not know what he has went through. You will not know how much is his experience. Maybe you would have been working this company for more than 5 years. You would have just joined. It will take you another 5 years of that time to come to his level. So the moment you start comparing, right, you will lose the whole confidence. You will not be the best to give it, because there will be performance appraisals. There will be situations like, because the real world is not friendly to you. It's not like college. You will not be. They will accept 1 to 2 to 3 failures, but 6 failure, they will be asking questions like, okay, why didn't you learn from the failure? So you should be so much adamant in learning from your failures that you will not repeat again. You should be adamant for yourself, saying, you know what, you cannot say, no, you know what, no one asked me about the failure, I will just go around with it. No, that is not how it is. The moment you are in this comfort zone of yours, that's when the problem starts. So I don't know, I was lucky enough to, I always had this urge to come out of this comfort zone, because one moment I feel like, oh my God, today I didn't do much. The work, the bug which I was working was not solved. I have this restless night. People close to me will know, because I don't talk normally. I talk with with a frown in my face. So this is what makes me, go back next day, I get so pissed off with this bug, not with the people, that I finish it off. That inner adrenaline pump comes up. Like this post person say, you know what, why can't I just run so fast? That's how I work. So if you have this in your field, you will start learning about so many stuff. You will start treating things like as such. You should start treating things like tools. You should just start treating things like, I don't know this. Okay, I'll just go around and learn it in 2 to 3 days and come back and excel at it. So this is how I approach my day-to-day life. I think
Okay.
I'm stuck. I'm sorry if I'm stuck.
No. See, every person talks about engineers not getting job. Am I audible? Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Vikram?
Ma'am, you are audible, ma'am.
Yeah, Vikram?
Vikram having some signal issue, it seems.
Yeah, he's going back and coming. I think.
Hello. I'm sorry.
Vikram, are you back? Okay.
There was this technical difficulty.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm back. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry, yeah.
See, everybody talk, even in movies, like they make fun of engineers don't get jobs. Again, you have a problem in your network. Yeah. How do you say like engineers can get jobs?
Hi everyone. Sorry, there should not be any more disconnects now. I just made it right.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
See, I was asking the question, like everybody talk about engineers. If you talk about engineers, they say they don't get jobs. Right from movies, they make memes.
Yeah.
They make fun of engineers. So, what is your take from this?
So if you ask me frankly, I would say engineers doesn't. Job. I cannot comment on everyone's family situation because I know my own personal stuff. But if you don't have the luxury, if you have the luxury, I would say better to start about having with the freelancing kind of thing when you're in the college. If you have the luxury, what I mean. I'm not saying you should not go for placement training. I'm saying if you have the luxury to explore yourself, go do it. Because if you are a person who can afford to go around and do freelancing job, and there is a myth in this whole professional world that if you give 1 or 2 year gap, company will not hire you back. It is not there. If you are able to reason out saying, you know what, 1 year I took a gap because there were so many personal reasons I had to sort it out, people will listen to you. The HR there is also human. Will understand what you went through, and you will just test your skills from the moment you stop working. So that is one thing I want to make it clear. And getting a job, I would not say engineers don't get job. I would say people who are not ready for engineering, who didn't choose engineering as they loved it, they were choose engineering because they just wanted to do, they are not able to find the right job for them because there is no such thing called right job. Because if you ask me, in EEE, there is only one paper which comes as computer networks. And the first company which I worked was a networking company. I was good at the computer networks. I could get it. So that is one that is the 3 credit subject which fetched me a job. So it is not about what you learn. If you sit in your, if I had, that is also core domain for me. Embedded system is also core. So if you start treating EEE, you know what, I will only go and work in TNEB. I will not work any other company. No, that is not how it works. You should be ready to accept any job, any good job. For example, there were so many startup companies which approached me because my family situation was not there. I needed a good salary. I had to accept a better company. But if you have this luxury, just go, because startups are the way you can learn. They will not pay you better. They will not have all the better amenities which other big companies are giving you, but they will give you the super professional skill set and everything else, that your career growth will grow exponentially. You will have contacts. Contacts is so important because contacts in engineering field is not like this person can go sell it. Contacts in engineering domain is where you can learn something. Contacts it's in engineering world. It's like, okay, if you don't know something, you can call this person and ask, you know what, I'm facing this in my engineering is a field where you need to have more contacts like this. You need to integrate. Otherwise, a sole EEE developer or a sole a computer science student will not survive in this world, because you need we call it as IoT. So IoT is like excess of every other system. Mechanical engineers needs to know how you can localize your manufacturing plant or something. So you cannot just say it is not my field, I will not learn. You should know what is happening there. Yeah, you don't need to know how to build it, but know what is happening there. So jobs, my sense is like, if you don't get a job, you should always have plan B. Okay, what next? The moment I did not get a job in my first try. I took 3 months break after my research. I was having I tried so many other companies. They were asking, I became overqualified person because I had a research profile, and they were expecting, more. They were thinking, okay, this guy may go for MS, this guy may go for PG studies. But though I had made them clear that I'm not going to do that, they were not accepting these answers. So I had to then I realized, okay, I'm not approaching the right companies, because I made projects on embedded system, but I was approaching companies on EEE based companies. They did not know, because neither did I have a project, neither did I have the trust they are looking for. So then when I changed this approach, I got the job. The first job I applied, I got it. So it is on your approach. First of all, don't listen to others who have went through this thing. Because if I come and tell you, you know what, don't apply to this company, but you love this company, just go and apply it. Because if you go to interview and you're fresh out of college, they will not expect anything from you. All they will expect is what you're good at, and are you employable. Employable people have this myth that you should be a slave. No, that is not how employability is. Employability is you can talk back to this company. There should be a mutual give and take between you and the company, because company, after a point, they are investing in you. They should get out something, because that's how the company also will grow along with you. So job is, I would say, it is not easy to get, but it is not like how they portray in movies. Engineers are not jobless. We need so many engineers now, good engineers. And you need to first define what is engineering for you, like how we discussed. If you fall in the right place, I have seen every friend of mine has got a job, proper engineering job. And if you are good at it, you will excel at it. That's it.
We talk about skill gap, Vikram. So there are a few things which the students have to develop, because the institute may not be able to give everything as the industry expects, So what do you think in your embedded area? We can talk about EEE on a whole also. Like, what are all the skill sets the students have to develop?
First of all, I would say if you are coming to embedded, don't be afraid of coding. Because I would say there is also a mistake in seniors, I would say, or in people before you, that we have set a standard in coding that coding is so hard to learn. Or maybe there is a wrong approach that you start by hearting. Coding is a tool, as simple as that. It's a tool like how you use a multimeter, tool like how you use a screwdriver. If you don't know coding, it's fine. All you need to be good is, it's like you should be good with the logics. Coding you can also outsource, because we are in an era where we just go to Google. I daily in basis I use Google. So if you don't know something, just go and you can learn it. So for me, for a EEE guy, skill set is like, first of all, you need to understand what market is. Be part of forums. IEEE, there are so many, there is a power electronics standard. The very reason I'm part of wireless standards is because I want to know what is happening in the industry. If my company is not aligned with the current market trends, I can go back in the meetings and say, you know what, boss, you are not working on the right track. You are working on something else. Marketing is something else. We are not doing research. We need to sell this product. So I'm in R&D. If I don't tell this to my company, they will not know. So it is your responsibility to be in top of your market, not everything in the market. Subscribe to Google News. Subscribe to all the technology. Be a part of IEEE. Spending few bucks on that is not going to hurt. And then the biggest skill set is like, do your project by yourself. Don't go out and don't buy your projects. Yeah, I can say, because the moment I started, I said my company was doing projects. I was not making projects for them blindly. I had to sit with them. I called them to my home and I sat with them, and that's how we made the project. It's highly important that you make your own projects, be it any school project or college or any project in your life. It should be by you, because project is something where you learn so many stuff, hands-on. The moment you learn something hands-on, you have something of your own input in that. That you will never forget. Even if it is not working, you will never forget. That's how I have learned everything in my life. So, but just a hands-on learning will not help you. You should know what is the theory behind it. Because That's the basic core difference between engineer and a technician. Technician will know how to do it hands-on, but he will not know why he is doing that. Engineer is a person who tells him why he should do, why he should follow a certain process. So the important skill across every domain is ethics. That is what I would say, because that is also a huge gap I see. People take process for granted. People take this ethics for granted, be it employer or people who's being, your company. I don't say all companies are not ethical. That is how they portray in movies. That is not how it is. People value standard. If you're a person who follows process strictly, industry watches you keenly. I see my LinkedIn profile getting so many hits just because I'm part of this standard board. So you know your market, first point. Next is do your projects by your own. Don't go around buying. It is easy way out. Yeah, you will be under pressure in your fourth year. Start your projects in third year. That doesn't hurt. You will know so many things by year. You are not going to invent something. I'm sorry if I'm putting down, but we are not going to invent something. We are going to make something better there. That is so important for us. Maybe you're inventing something, but that is highly in 1 in a million. For a million other people, that's what I'm seeing. They're going out, buying projects, saying, you know what, I will just make project now. I'll get a job, then I will learn. That will never happen. The moment, because college is a platform where you can do something. So make your own projects. Next is follow process. That I always say in my company also, because if you follow process, like it is easy to work as a system. You work so efficiently, and there is no hard feelings among your teammates. You can easily say, you know what, this is how the process states. It's as simple as that. So these are the three main skills that I would say. And I would also say certifications are important, but doesn't mean that you should have all certificates. It is not like that. Choose your skill set. Yes, for example, I see so many courses that I still myself do some 12 Udemy courses if you take my account. That is important because you should choose your skill set so that you know what, if I'm learning artificial intelligence now, I can apply my day-to-day. It makes my job easier. I want to know something. That's how you should choose a course. Maybe the course is not top, because I have a course in my Udemy say which is about code of ethics in engineering. For me, like a guy who don't need to know code of ethics, but I want to know code of ethics because when I talk to my managers in my performance appraisal, I can talk why I follow this process. So this makes me to talk like an engineer as a profession. So choose this course. It's not going to pay you back, I accept, but it will make you a better person. So that's how you should choose your skills. So this is my key points.
That was wonderful, Vikram. I really liked the code of ethics, because many people do the certifications just to show others. Post it in LinkedIn or put it in your resume.
Yeah.
Or share it somewhere that others know that you have done this. But more than others knowing that what you have done, it is the skill what you possess, which reflects when you behave, or when you talk to somebody, or when you show it in your work. The outcome is what is the intention should be of doing anything. If you do something, you learn something, it should be imbibed in you, and it should reflect on some activity. So naturally people will see that yes, you are capable of. The certifications will not speak, only your actions will speak. So that's a wonderful takeaway. And do you think PG is mandatory, or how do you feel about the post-graduation degrees?
I would say that the personality of yours plays the important role. For example, if there are, from whatever I know, there are two types of people here, who are promotion focused and who are prevention focused. So if your mind is, it is always getting creative, it's like my mind. You always try to, doesn't want to work in the same way. You're not a guy who will be good in PG. You will not be a guy who will not be fitting in a system. You will be good in entrepreneurship. You will be good in selling yourself. I'm not saying entrepreneurship is like you will quit your company today, go out there, start a startup. That is not entrepreneurship. You will be good at in whatever you're working. You will finish your work from 9 to 5. After 5, you will sit in the freelancing job. You'll learn about new technology. You build something in your home. That is also an entrepreneurship goal. So for this type of person, I would say PG, yes, if you can afford it, it's a good thing to know, but that is not going to help you in the long run, because I realized in the hard way. So you will learn more in job than PG. So for this kind of people, that is more. But I see a lot of people who rarely fall into this subset of whole thing, because if you ask me, I would say doing a PG doesn't hurt. If you can afford to doing a PG, just do it, because people are more who are more prevention focused. Like for example, you care about safeguarding what you have, what you learned. You see, you always worry about, what I have managed to build up my rapport here. Why should I bother? That's how your mind works. Then go for PG, because that will teach you a more of this outside circle before going into the professional board. And I will also, because why I say PG here is because for guys like us, we will hit the block and then you'll know, okay, I don't know this. But the other set of people, they start going in the comfort zone. They will never know there's something out there. So this PG will give you, boss, there is so many other things you can learn. So basically the core point here is knowing what is out there. You can choose running into a wall and learning it like me, or taking a good safer approach and learning with a better mentors and stuff. So PG is a worthful stuff. It also, there is a third kind of people who want to do PG and they don't know what to do, or they don't know if they really want, what kind of people they are. I would say that's when your project, or that's when taking such steps like joining IEEE board or talking to people will help. Because if you don't know something, when you talk to people like this, because there can be a student who can come and ask me, bro, I don't know. You talk about two people, but I'm a third person who don't know who I can fit in. I also want to go read a roadblock. I also want to safeguard myself, but where do I stand? Then this is where you should go and see, okay, go take a peek into the outside world. Go join IEEE boards, do your projects, do a home project. You will know you're good at doing a project. You're good in this. So you will stick to this option A. If you are not good in this, you don't know, you always go to Google and refer circuit design, then you need to know a little more on this whole thing. Then you are not a person who wants to take a risk now. Ultimately, you should take a risk, but take a PG and then come back. So this is what I would say.
So you were mentioning about mentor, Vikram. I'm really keen to know who is your mentor.
I would say I learned so many things. I don't want, if I say just 1 or 2% here, it's such an injustice that I'm doing. That's the reason I had accepted for this Vikram, because I learned so many other things from so many other people. I want to give back to whoever wants to listen. So it's not like I was always ready to, I accepted everyone who gave me something as a mentor. That is the first core point, because the moment you stop listening, stop learning from others, that's when you go degrading. So I would say mentor is someone who's not just sitting with you day-to-day basis and telling you what to do, how to do. That is not mentor. That is coach. Mentor is someone who knows you are good at, who knows, okay, this guy is good at this. Let's just give him this. Let him go dive deep. Who ties his rope around you and pushes you into swimming pool. That's how a mentor is. He knows he will not die, but he knows he is not going to teach you swimming. So that's when you explore yourself. So every module of mine, there has been good. I was lucky enough to have a mentor there. Like, for example, in my research, they were Vineet sir, and obviously in college, you were there for me to push me when I went to US and all. So I would also say my keyboard sir, who I have spoken to him for some 6 to 12 standard. He spoke about so many other things than learning keyboard there. Okay, if my mom listens to this, like, what are you doing there? So that's also a mentorship. I would also say he taught me what is IT. He taught me what he's studying, because he was doing IT by the time he spoke to me about what is software. That's when I know there is a world called software and hardware. So you should start accepting people when they come and teach you. You should suppress your ego to say, you know what, there is someone who says something, who's saying something to me. Just because I know I shouldn't be talking, because I was this guy who was always talking back. I learned this in a hard way, that I should keep shut so that I can listen more. So once you start listening, everyone around you is mentor. I would say my dad is a mentor for me, because he's not an engineer out there, but he has taught me that just turning on light and off light is not engineering. That is everyone can do, because the moment you simplify a big problem statement as turning on and off a light, you start questioning yourself. Okay, this is what I'm doing there. Is it just I'm turning on the light on and off? Then I get to explain it to him. No, you know what? There is something called debugging where you need to turn on and off light. So that's when I can contradict him saying, you know what, this is a bigger thing for me. But he was also a mentor for me. So there are so many other people mentoring. You should accept everyone.
Of course, your mom too, for having a lot of belief.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yes. So
and last and final question for you, Vikram. Like, how do you approach any problem from a professional point of view? What is your note to the audience?
Okay. First of all, when you come to professional life, from whatever I've learned now, problems are the things which will give you money, which will make you earn money. Because if there is no problem, there is no use case for us. Simple as that. So it doesn't mean that we should start creating new problems and start solving. That is collateral. That is not what I'm talking about. But there are so many other problems. There can be the simplest solution for a problem can be asking, should there be a device? For example, just because you saw a problem state when you start building stuff, no, that is not how it works. Eventually you will start degrading. Ask so many questions that why do you even need this device? Start becoming your own customer and question in rubbish manner, any rubbish manner that because the moment you start questioning so many things, you will know that, oh my God, there are so many other problems there. So first of all, treating your, I would say don't be strict, because by being strict is like you cannot just go and ask, you know what, you need to give me this. That's the reason. Stop reasoning on it. The moment you start reasoning, you are biasing yourself, saying, you know what, it is not your fault. I'm not saying everything is your fault, but you should reason in an ethical manner. That's when process comes into bigger playing picture. You should know that's it really needed, because engineers will be bound to work with all this automation and stuff. People will try to cut off resources. So when you ask something to your company, they will say no. For 5 to 10 times, they'll always say no. So you should have a workaround. You should have a plan A, B, C, D. So that you will also give a solutions to your. I have spoken to people who are CEO level. They will always ask in sales perspective. First of all, try to work around in constraints. That will give you, that will remove the soft bed saying there are no problems. There are so many problems. Next is dealing with the problem. So you should be adaptive to trade-offs. You should understand trade-offs. You know what trade-off is? It should not be your solution should not always be the best solution out there. It can be the efficient solution. It can be the accurate solution, but being the best is rarely. It's basically the ideal solution. So be adaptive to trade-offs. You know what? I want STM. I want ARM processor, but I'm not getting a high processor. I'm only getting such a low constraint processor, because believe me, today we are in my job now. For past 1 week, we are fighting for the 2 bytes. We are fighting for needing of 2 bytes in this whole firmware, because we have implemented a feature. The customer wants this feature, but we don't have this 2 bytes. No one is letting us to buy extra memory. So we need to go around line by line, system by system, saying, okay, this is needed. How can I efficiently get this 2 byte? Because 2 byte is nothing for everyone out there, but we need this. So this is a problem for me. They have told me you will not get 2 bytes. They have told me the customer is important. They have told me these are your deadlines. Give me the solution. That's what you have been hired for. So you should not go back and tell you have not given me all this stuff. I will not work for it. That is what you're expected to do. So that's when you go back. You will start seeing older codes, what is they're doing outside the process. Because if you follow the process, it will always, engineering is mathematics, it will always fall back into place. Now we got 1 more byte, so we are fighting for 1 more byte now. That is how it is. The third thing is, don't take anything for granted. For example, problems, you will not be expected to solve a problem on your own. For example, if I have a problem, there will be a team for you. So don't take anyone for granted there. Because problems can, when you go to professional code, it's always a team. It is not just you. So if you can alone solve the problem, then you're the company there. You don't need other 100 employees around you. So if you start, what I mean by taking for granted is that other person who's working in your team knows something. And you want something, just don't go knock the door and ask help from them. Schedule a meeting. Give importance for the time. When you start doing this, right, you will see this confidence that you are approaching a problem as a 2-person than a one single guy who was working before. So this will let you to solve the problem more easier way, because a team is always easier to solve a problem. So that's what I would say, these 3 key points.
That's great. And as engineers, I think we should also applaud at this point. During this COVID situation, so many people are working to solve the problems. Like directly we see doctors, healthcare, nurses, policemen, and traffic constables, and medical pharmacies. Everything is seen, but behind the scenes, everywhere engineer is there.
Yeah.
So you could see in hospitals the robots, which we are talking using communication, and robots are there, and a lot of biomedical equipments in the hospital which help the doctors to give solutions. So we should really give an applaud for the engineers. And definitely there's a huge scope for engineers in every field, not only in engineering field. Every field requires an engineer. So they are the backbone of the society.
There is always,
to solve
there are so
the
many
problems.
opportunities for engineers.
Solve the problems and make the world much more better. The living Elon Musk used to do everything just to make the world better. That is the only intention he has. How to make the world better. So I
Yeah,
think
and
this is the
yeah,
takeaway
that's the
for all
core
the
point.
engineers. Yeah.
Yes.
So
Yeah, I'm really
very
happy to do
thankful
this.
to you. Yeah. And I would like to have the viewers, attendees to ask any queries, questions you have to Vikram.
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
Can I have the
Don't
audience
ask what
to?
yeah, don't ask what I'm working for and company and all. So that's the different thing.
Yeah.
I hope I've not taken so much of time because that's
No, correct. But can I have the questions, please?
Let me open up the chat here.
Yeah, just open the chat.
Hello, Vikram brother.
Hi.
Actually, I'm also an engineer in the first place, doing my first year.
Okay.
And with what all you spoke, right? I just feel so blessed and proud that I'm also at the end of the day I'm also going to be an engineer. I was
Makes
like,
me so happy.
I was enjoying both of your talks so much. I just don't know whether to ask questions to you or to give feedback to you in the first place.
That's so kind of
Yeah.
you.
First, because
Like
he's available
I'm
and ask
so
all the
glad.
questions. He's
Actually,
a very experienced
it's not
person
a
who can
question.
share experience.
Okay, yeah.
It's not a type of question what I want to ask. It's like in this day-to-day world, being in a campus life, how to keep ourselves updated and how to be a way step ahead compared to other college members.
Okay. I would say first of all, start enjoying being in a class. If, for example, being in first year, I would say, which department are you? Okay, let me keep it more gentle.
I'm
So,
from
for example,
biotechnology.
okay, great. That's okay. So the moment if you want to be better than someone, the first question is if you are like I said, if you are thinking that you should be better than yourself, you should train your mind in such a way that you ask questions in a class that you understand the concept. First, if you understand the concept in exams, you can easily write it out. Maybe there are constraints that you're not scoring marks, but marks are not everything. Okay, so marks, if you understand the concept and you start implementing this concept. For example, if you learn something, since you're in first year, if you're learning something from your biomedical core subject, go out to the internet and search what is already done. For example, you may be interested in how a pulse meter works. I'm just thinking out loud here. How a pulse meter works. Okay, and then how this wearable watches work. How are they accurately mapping all these things. This as a person who, it will put you to know something more than the guy who's sitting next to you. He will not be doing all the exercises back at home because your college ends after 5. Next day you can go to the professor and ask the same question to him or her. So this will keep the classes more interactive, and also you will enjoy going back to the college and asking because the professor there knows more than you. So you will have a question, you go to the Google and see the question, and you have so many more questions. You have a person in your college who's a specialist in that subject. You will get answers easily, and by this, if you start bringing this as a habit, that's it. You're already one step ahead on others.
Thank you, bro. Thank you.
Yeah.
Anybody would like to ask any question to Vikram Vale?
Hi, Vikram. Hi, ma'am. This is Fatima. Basically, I worked with Vikram in one of his companies when he was in Dubai. So basically, I am his ex-colleague, if you would like to mention. Basically, I don't have any questions as of now for him because I have known him personally, working with him. So it's been quite good. If you want to have some validation for his work, I would say he is one of the greatest employees my company could have. He's one of the most dedicated person. Honestly, because when it comes to coding, when it comes to developing stuff, I have seen him working day in and day out, sitting just with his hardware and talking to the hardware maybe and reading hardwares. It's super nice to have Vikram. To have Vikram as our colleague. I hope I wish him all the best. And yeah, thanks for the webinar, Vikram. All the best.
Thanks, Fatima. It's good to hear from you. Thanks.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Thank you,
ma'am.
Padma, for your patient
Sorry, it's
listening
Fatima.
and
I'm sorry. I'm
staying.
so sorry.
Fatima, okay, staying for the
Okay.
entire session. I'm really thankful to you. God
It's really
bless
nice
you.
offer. Yeah.
No problem. Thank you.
Any more questions?
Hi, I'm Suhaila. I'm also Vikram's friend. Am I audible?
Yes.
A little bit louder, ma'am. It's not audible.
Yes. Am I audible now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes. So I'm an educator. I work with children. Am I audible? I just want that.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. I am an educator. I work with children. We also had Vikram come to our school and address our children once. Okay, and we really did see a difference, and he connected really well with children. Just that as an educator, I would really wish, children, see, once children finish their schooling, they shouldn't be idly choosing engineering job just for the sake of it. If they're really passionate about something, they need to really stick on to that and go ahead with that. Say, for example, I have known so many of my friends who did engineering just for the sake of it, and after that ended up in an IT. Am I still audible?
Yeah, there's yeah.
Somebody opened the.
Yes,
am I clear?
Yeah.
Yes. Carry on, ma'am.
So as I was saying that as an educator, as children, you shouldn't be like, after finishing school, directly join college and then do your engineering course and land an IT company. Maybe there will, of course, there will be contribution of engineers there. But more than that, I feel the world today needs modern engineers who think really well and who think out of the box. And I've seen Vikram to be one among them. The way he provides insights and the way he shares knowledge is really good. And if you could share, Vikram, from your point of view, what will be your advice to young children so that I can share the knowledge with my students there? And what would you want them to be? And how do you want them to, your piece of advice for them?
Yeah, if you ask to our young children, because young children have a long way to come to engineering, but first of all, I would say never start biasing them, because they should first of all know there is a field called engineering, but as much as they know about engineering, they should also know about there is a field called arts. There are field like economics, there are field like so many other things which they can explore. After all, knowing all these things, they come back and choose engineering, then it's well and good. But you should not just keep on telling with all the movies or from the brothers and sisters that there is only engineering out there. They should know sociology. They should know everything else, and they should also be trained in such a way that getting a job is not what career is. If you could explain to a young kid that doing what you love is not just hobby, it's also a profession, then that's what I consider is treating the kid knowing what he wants. Because career, we always treat what we love as hobby and not profession. So if the kid knows, what I love painting and I love doing music and I can choose it as a career, or I love playing sports, then that is also a good thing. If the kid wants to become an engineer, as a teacher, if you find out, okay, the kid is really good at something, making something, then you should start telling the kid that, there is a field called engineering, which you should choose on your own, not like enrolling into all these exams. Exams are, entrance exams, I would say. Exam coaching centers are for the people who really love to go and join in that organization. If the kid loves to join it, it's our responsibility to tell the kid, you should write this exam. If the kid just wants to do an engineering subject, it's our responsibility as an adult to tell the kid, you should start listening to good people, start choosing a role model. Tell them who are other engineers. Mr. Bean is also an engineer. He's a triple E graduate. He's not just Mr. Bean, but he's still coming and acting. So you should give this kid the hope that, engineers are not just people who wear a hat, who build buildings and things. They are people who are like normal people, and they don't go in IT companies and work as end of the day. There are so many other. Audio engineering is an engineering profession. We see movies there. When we watch a movie, we can tell this kid, this is also an engineering profession. That's what our responsibility lies. Not telling the kid how he or she should work. I hope I'm not confused.
No, you did. Based on what you said, I feel that there is a urgent necessity to change the mind shift or change the viewpoint on how engineering job is projected in the world. I hope you feel
Yes, and it's our response. It's our responsibility to have such platforms to explain them. That is not exactly what it is. You should call profession. What I see is professions when they just when you leave college and go to work, we don't come back and teach the society that this is not how it is. We see the reality, but we don't give them the reality check. It's our job. It's our mistake that it is not projected in this way.
No, it is how people see. It is from their perspective. They see that the engineers don't get jobs, but actually, this is the intention of SEEK also to have this discussion, especially to eradicate that mindset of everybody feeling that no engineering is of no use. We should not become an engineer.
Thank you so much for this beautiful webinar. It really means a lot, and I feel that such webinars should be publicized, and a lot of people should know about it.
We are doing a lot, ma'am. We will also keep you informed.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am, and thank you, Vikram.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Sonia. Yeah.
Any more questions from the audience?
Hello, hi. This is Anusha. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we could.
Yeah, Anusha, we can hear you.
Hi, Vikram. Hi, Mrs. Ushaa. I'm here calling from Ireland. I've just got the link to this chat, and I thought I'll also add on to the discussion here. I was hearing you people speak about, how people outside the engineering field don't know the involvement engineers have, especially in this time of COVID-19. Can you tell us how can we go ahead and learn about what engineers do in terms of what are they specifically doing this kind of a situation? Because I'm a researcher and I'm trying to involve public and patients.
Yeah. I'd love to do this. So, yes, Anuja. So first of all, the very Zoom session we are having is because of engineering. Because now, things are getting settled now. But if you go back in the lockdown process, maybe mid of March, no one was allowed to go out. But still, there was no blackout, or the network was working fine. There was no issue with companies working from home. That is what engineers do. Because see, these machines are not so automated that they will work on their own. There are, for example, if you take a simple network tower, it needs a guy to go and check in daily the meter reading so that it can be routed properly. So this is a guy who's sitting in his house because there is something called 24 hours on-call support. So there is this happening. We saw Amazon services cutting off customer care services, but there were no service which was cut off. That is a simple example. But if you take in COVID hospital situations, I would not say doctors are important. Sorry, not important, but the doctor, instead of treating just one patient, because of these technicians there and all these equipments coming back. For example, once you treat a patient, there are I recently learned that there are equipments which you can share across, like ventilators and stuff. This goes back to soil room and comes back to a doctor or a nurse in a sanitized manner because of the technicians there, right? So this the doctors highly rely on the data points which are obtained from such equipments. So this is also a life and death scenario, and it makes a doctor's or nurse's job so easy. But I hope we also acknowledge that these technicians out there are also, but I'm not saying we are not acknowledged, but I'm saying we need to know that there's something like this happening.
Exactly my question. How do you go ahead and tell people that actually we are also working on it, and you kind of can get the information from this is what we're doing, and how do you think you can disseminate that data?
Yeah, we have started sessions mainly to make awareness about the importance of engineering and the engineers, the job, what they do. And of course, the electricity. You forgot to talk about EEE department, Vikram. So everybody is enjoying electricity, and people are working to safeguard, and even water supply. Everything is normal, right? We are at home, but we are getting everything.
Yes.
One more thing which I would, The core
and the
part
TV
is what
channel,
you start asking.
TV channel
Yes,
communication
the
network
news
is happening.
That's where I was coming to say. Yeah. So yeah, I would say
Yeah.
we need to start taking steps like this. Yeah.
Yeah, it is great to know that these kind of sessions are going on. I think I will encourage all of you to do the same and actually make it as a separate topic on like a topic based webinar where you can speak about specific things, especially this where you can involve the engineers and the public and to make the awareness that we are, so that they can acknowledge. I know I can acknowledge because I have studied with Vikram in school, so I know that. But at the same time, it's good for other people in my sector. I'm from health sector to know that these kind of things, because doctors are put in the front, nurses are put in the front, but we have to kind of acknowledge the engineers as well. So thank you very much for this session.
Even the app that has been developed now, to identify the nearest COVID person, that's the brain of an engineer.
Yes, I get that. So I think there should be
even
there should
social
be
distancing. Social distancing. We are working on a project where we are using proximity sensors.
Mm-hmm.
So for school kids, like I'm working on a project where you have the wristband with a proximity sensor, which will alert the child if the child goes nearer to another person, because the children cannot be. So that proximity sensor will give a vibration to the child, and it will know that somebody is nearer beyond that area. I mean, within that one. Yeah. So this is, of course, engineers' mind.
That's great, actually. So that's why I said
we can have a session.
Yes, it'll be great to have a session only on this to know, so that we are able to acknowledge the fact that that we need to put engineers as well. Yeah,
there are rooms in some companies where you go inside and come out, you fully get sanitized, like even that is there. So all our new innovations are coming from engineers.
It's great.
We'll
thank you very much.
Sessions on this.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. And also I request the audience to post the topics which you would like to have in our future webinars. I'll be very happy to take up those topics and invite experts like Vikram. And it's a proud privilege for me as his principal. I was his principal in an engineering college where he studied, and I have a wonderful feel of me to have him on our webinar today. Feel really happy to see my student, with so much of knowledge and experience. He has enlightened so many people, and we have become a platform. We have created a platform, so it's a great happiness for me too. And thank you for all the people who have attended the webinar today, and I have shared the feedback link, and it will be active till 6:30. And I would request all the participants to fill in the feedback form, and the e-certificates will be sent to people who fill the feedback form. And Vikram, shall we close the webinar?
Yeah, I'm fine. Yeah. They can reach out to me if they want something to ask.
Yes, you can reach to Seek, and Vikram also has shared his website. So any further doubts also, we are here open to reach you. So keep watching for our next webinar. I hope you all join us for the next webinar for a more informative session. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah.